Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another gameplay impressions, and today we're going to be taking a look at The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes for the 3DS. This title was sent to me by Nintendo so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it. So what exactly is Triforce Heroes all about? Well, it is essentially a 3-player co-op version of Zelda. The game looks and feels and pretty much plays, as far as I can remember, like The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, which if you guys don't remember, that is like one of the top-down Legends of Zelda. It was actually really good. It was the one where Link could merge himself onto a wall and stuff like that. You don't do any of that kind of stuff in this one though, but I'm just saying like the look of the engine and the way that you play the game feels very similar to that one. So if you're thinking, you know, what's it going to be like to playing The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes, that's pretty much what you're looking forward to. Now, on top of that, there's a couple more modes that you have available to you in Triforce Heroes, because even though it is a 3-player co-op game, you can also play it by yourself if you want to. They give you these statues that kind of replace the functions that the other players would make, and you will use these statues in solving puzzles and whatnot. And you might think, oh man, that must be a lot harder than playing with 3 people. No, it's actually not. Because playing with 3 people becomes really hectic because you have to actually coordinate between the 3 of you. Whereas, you know, playing by yourself, you're like, okay, I'll put this doll over here, put that doll over there, and just like kind of solve the puzzle that way. And you have, you know, it's a lot easier, only one person thinking. Whereas if you have 3 people all thinking about the solution to the puzzle and probably trying to implement it impromptu, you get quite a lot of chaos, which is actually one of the strong points of the games of this particular game, is the chaos that the whole gameplay generates. Because it makes the whole session extremely fun, because you're not just struggling to solve a puzzle, you're struggling to also explain to your teammates what you expect them to do in order to solve that puzzle. And there's quite a few mechanics involving that, but I will be talking about the puzzles a little bit further on. So I wanted to address a little bit more in terms of level structure, because I feel that the level structure that they've placed in Triforce Heroes is actually really well thought out, because the way this works is you have multiple levels. I don't know. I think you have like 8 different worlds or something like that. At least that's what I have on my list so far. I'm not sure if there's going to be more, or maybe after I'm done with those 8, if it's going to unlock more stuff. I haven't really finished the game. I'm not even close because there's a ton of stuff to do. But basically you have like, right now what I can see is like 8 different worlds. And then each of those worlds you have 4 stages. Now, each of those 4 stages usually consists of 4 sub-levels. So it's like, when you really break it down, there's like a ton of small levels. You don't have really super lengthy levels. The idea is to having these bite-sized levels strung together in one dungeon. And then you go through that dungeon, you solve all the puzzles, and then you're pretty much done with that specific portion of the dungeon. But the thing that I really like about these levels is that they're kind of like bite-sized levels that you can kind of get done in like 5 or 10 minutes or something along those lines. I mean, not the levels themselves, the dungeons. I feel that I'm becoming a little bit I'm kind of confusing you guys. It's like, what do you mean there's worlds and then there's levels, then there's sub-levels? Yes, there's like 3 layers of things, which is there's the worlds, and then inside those worlds you have like dungeons. Actually, let's call them like that. You have worlds, then dungeons, and inside each dungeon you have like 4 levels strung together that you have to complete in one sitting, okay? And that one sitting playthrough is going to take you like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how well your team is coordinated. At the end of each of these levels, you will then acquire 1 material, and using these materials, you will get into a crafting system. The game has a crafting system where you gather all these different materials and you make different suits, different outfits that you can equip onto Link. And these outfits will have different benefits, which you can then use on the different levels of the game. This almost gave it a Monster Hunter feel in a way. I mean, it's not nearly as complex as Monster Hunter, and I don't think you're going to have to grind nearly as much, but it is interesting that it's like, okay, I want to get this material so that I can craft this outfit, and you know, it gives you something to look forward to as you delve into the dungeons and do more and more things. And like I was saying, you can play it multiplayer or single player, but certain suits you will be required to play multiplayer because they need something which is called a friend token. And the way the friend tokens work is you will actually need to play with different people, and the more people you play with, each time you meet a new person, you will get one friendly token, and then you can use that to craft outfits. I will talk a bit more about outfits right now. Actually, I thought it was good. I'm looking at my notes on the side, and I'm just like, oh, I think the outfits are later. No, the outfits are actually now. Sorry, you guys. I haven't slept for like 2 nights, so I'm a little bit rusty. Anyway, as I was saying, so these outfits give you different bonuses and stuff. For instance, you have an outfit that you can craft, which is the Kokiri outfit. And this, whenever you pick up a bow, this will allow you to shoot 3 arrows instead of 1. And speaking of bows, there are there's always 3 items that you can pick up at each of the level. And these items will help you solve different kinds of puzzles. So, for instance, when you go into the woodlands, you're going to basically have bows and bombs. And as you pick up these items, each player will get one of those items. So, for instance, you can have 2 players having a bow and then a 3rd player having a bomb. This is something that happens quite often in the woodlands. And then you have that same energy gauge that you have in A Link Between Worlds, and you can basically shoot your bow so long as you have enough energy in your gauge, or you can throw bombs so long as you have enough energy in your gauge. That's pretty much the way that works. And then you will have to coordinate with your team, like with the people that are using the bow, as well as the people who are using the bombs, to do the right thing. Like sometimes you'll have to use the bow to shoot, one of those little blue orbs that will trigger something, or you might have to use a bomb to defeat a particular enemy that is in a more elevated position. There's a lot more items beyond that basically exponentially increase the difficulty of the puzzles that you will encounter on these dungeons. So sometimes you'll have the water rod. Now the water rod will create a platform that you guys can walk on. And then there's also a fire glove, which shoots fire and melts ice. There's also a hammer. There's tons of items that you will encounter throughout these levels, and the proper use of these items is key to solve the puzzles as well as defeat the enemies and all that stuff, allowing you to progress further into each of the levels. And then, as I was saying, as you craft the different outfits, you're going to have different advantages. So I was talking about how the Kokiri suit gives you triple arrows. There's also a bomb suit, which I don't remember the proper name of it, but basically that just makes it so whenever you pick up a bomb, that bomb is going to actually be a lot bigger than normal. It's going to have a bigger radius of explosion. And there's another suit that will just increase the chances of hearts dropping. There's another suit that increases the chances, or it increases the number of rupees that drop on each level, and so on and so forth. There's just a wide variety of suits. I was told by the PR responsible person at Nintendo that there's over 30 something suits. I don't think he even knew the exact number because he hasn't played the game all the way. But there's a bunch of suits that you can craft, and each of these suits will give you different things. Now, something that I wanted to bring to your attention is, like I said, you need friendly tokens for some of these suits. And one of the suits that we focused on crafting, because we actually had a session earlier today over at Nintendo headquarters in Portugal, where it was an event for people to just gather up and play Triforce Heroes. Because, like I've told you guys, I personally don't have a lot of friends that actually own. I'm talking about friends close to my house or something that own a 3DS. So when you get a game like this that's 3-player co-op, it's incredibly hard for me to review it and tell you guys how fun it is without actually playing it with other people. Because if I was just to play the single player mode, it's yeah, it's pretty fun, but it's definitely not the game's highlight, So we went to this event, and there were just a bunch of us over there, and we'd all just laughing it up and playing through portions of the game, playing it in competitive, because there's also competitive mode that I haven't told you guys yet, and playing it in cooperative mode as well, in order to acquire as many friendly tokens as we could. And one of our objectives was to actually craft this special suit, which was called the Tri-Suit. Now, this Tri-Suit actually looks like this Power Ranger suit thing. And if all 3 players are using a Tri-Suit, basically there's just a ton of bonuses that you get. You get the extra heart bonuses. You get a lucky bonus, which sometimes you get hit, but you actually don't get hit. You get the... I think you also get the extra rupees bonus. You just get tons and tons of bonus. So there's a big advantage to every player using the Triforce suit. But other suits will give you different things. There's a Zora suit that makes you swim faster. There's a Thorn suit where basically whenever someone touches you, they take damage. There is, what else was there? There was this this turtle suit, which increases the power of the hammer. There's tons and tons of suits, and from different universes as well. So there's other Nintendo universes that you will get out of these suits. Like again, the hammer suit looked like a turtle from Super Mario. The tri-suit, now that I think about it, actually looked like the Wonderful 101 characters from Wii U. Wow. I just thought it looked like a Power Ranger, but maybe that was the inspiration for those suits. Anyway, I've spoken enough about the suits, but I do think that the suits are kind of like a big portion of what you're going to be working towards as you play through the multiplayer. But now, in terms of all these levels that I was telling you guys about and all these worlds, dungeons, and whatnot, once you actually complete them, you've only completed the basic version of these levels. So each level has, I think, like 4 variations. I mean, each dungeon set has like 4 variations, and I think they differ from dungeon to dungeon. Because like I remember playing the bonus of 2 dungeons, and one of those dungeons, that one of the bonus modes that we played was like you have to blow up a whole bunch of balloons that are spread throughout the dungeon. Another dungeon was like you don't actually use your sword in this dungeon, so you can only use like your secondary weapon, like the bow or the bomb or whatever. And then I noticed that some people were doing a different bonus mode that we didn't do, which was dark mode. So instead of you seeing everything like you see in Link Between Worlds, it's like you have an area that is lit up and the rest of the dungeon is completely dark. So you don't see the entirety of the dungeon unless you're constantly moving forward. So, that kind of stuff I thought, adds more replayability, and obviously doing it with these extra bonuses on top will give you better loot when you're done with the dungeon, gives you increased chance of dropping more rare materials for your other suits and stuff like that. Now, there's another method of acquiring materials, which is there's a shop in town which seems to reset daily. But basically that shop will pick a random set of materials and sell them to you on a daily basis. Now, the more rare the material is, the more expensive it is going to be. So you're going to have to grind up those rupees a little bit if you really want to go for that method. But, just playing through the game regularly seems to be giving me plenty of materials. I've crafted a whole bunch of suits so far. I don't know exactly how many, but it's like crafted Kokiri's suit, crafted the Triforce suit, crafted this Jester-looking suit, which gives you luck, crafted the suit that gives you extra hearts. I crafted a bunch of suits already, so it's not super grindy, like I was saying. And then there's also this kind of a little mini game which encourages you to log in daily, again, because the game is trying to encourage you to log in daily so that you can do these 2 mini games, which is, one of them is the materials are constant reset every day. So if you're looking for a specific material, you log in daily to see, is the material on the shop right now, or should I just go play a random level? And then there's another, which is there's like this 4 chests. There's a house where you go inside and there's 4 chests. You pick one, and only one of the chests has a prize. So if you pick the right one, you get 1 rare material. But if you pick the wrong one, that chest stays open and you can go back the next day until you eventually get that rare material. So, there's a little bit of incentive to try to get you to log in daily, which I feel it does need, because this game is basically going to live or die based on its co-op. Because like I was saying, it does have a single player mode, but it does not have, for instance, a 2-player mode for co-op, which is a little bit frustrating, because sometimes it's a lot easier to get 2 players together and just play through a level or something, but you will need to play with 3 players. So if you only have 2 people, you're going to have to go online and create a match online and hope that a 3rd person joins you, which hopefully I'm again, just like hope, but whatever. Hopefully we'll have a lot of people playing this game, because I think the game is actually a lot of fun. But yeah, you can go online, and beyond online, they also had this other mode, which I thought was very interesting, which was called Download Play. So basically what that does is it allows people that don't actually own the game to play the game, so long as someone else has the game. So let's say you own the game and you have 2 friends that have a 3DS but don't own the game. They can play the game with you. They have access to all the levels, but they can only craft 2 outfits, I think. And that's fine, because the game is doable with the basic outfit. At least I think all of the puzzles are solvable with the basic outfits, except you're missing out on a lot of stuff that you could be doing. Like, there's an outfit that makes you immune to lava. You're not going to be able to get your friends to do the the try suit so that everybody gains all these crazy bonuses and whatnot. So, Nintendo does have an incentive in place to get those people to actually get the game, but it's nice that you can just you have that one friend that maybe doesn't have the game and you have two of you have the game, whatnot. That one friend can join you without actually owning the game, and you can have a 3-player match going. I think that's an interesting thing to do, and it's really cool. And also, it saves their progress. So just in case they want to buy the game later, you have that progress saved up. So it's pretty cool. But anyways, in terms of puzzle solving, what can you expect? Well, there's all kinds of triggers. Then I haven't even seen all of the mechanics, but you have like the boomerang. Boomerang will pull players towards you. So sometimes you'll toss a player to the other side of a cliff. Then that player pulls out the boomerang, pulls you back to him, stuff like that. And then there's also this mechanic, which I'm sure you guys have seen if you've seen any material on this game, which is the totem mechanic. And that makes things really, really interesting because that is one of the most fun aspects of the game. So basically, whenever you go up to one of your friends and press the A button, you can pick him up. And then the third friend, which is still running around, can go up to you two guys and pick you up. So you can form totems of up to 3 people because there's only 3 players. And coordinating properly to form those totems is key because sometimes you will need to form a totem and have the person who's got the bombs on top so that he can throw a bomb to a specific location, or have the person who's got the bow on top so that he can shoot a specific target. And that is, without you guys actually playing the game, it's kind of hard to explain, but that is pretty challenging to get that thing going, to think like, okay, this person has to be on top, so I have to pick you up first, and then you have to pick me up, that kind of thing. And it's interesting discussing that because we'd be all saying, okay, now the bow guy has to be on top, and we'd be like, oh, so I'll pick you up and then you pick me up. And it's interesting, and it's a lot of fun. Now, having said that, I feel that this is one of those games that is a lot more fun if you have 3 people in the same room as you, or at least 3 people on comms somehow. Maybe you guys are speaking through Skype or something. I don't know. Because if you guys are not talking, it is going to become ridiculously hard to communicate. Now, the game does have this emote system that you have, which you can say simple things like, we need to totem up, you need to throw, you need to come here. That kind of very simple instructions, and that will help you communicate. But I don't think it's going to be very easy for people that aren't actually speaking to solve some of these puzzles efficiently. Because it's hard to kind of interpret what player A is trying to do in certain situations. But what I can tell you is that is a lot of fun. Anyway, so you got the co-op mode, single player mode. Then there's the competitive mode. Competitive mode, basically you go into an arena, and here you can play with only 2 players. It becomes like a 1v1. When you're playing with 2 players, this giant ominous hand shows up on top of your character, and every now and then it will just smash on top of someone. So you got to be constantly moving. This is to kind of prevent a situation where, say, one player has the bow, the other player doesn't have the bow and has something else, and that player is just away off screen just shooting him up. So it's kind of, the hand forces you to stay in constant movement. But when you got 3 players, there's no hand, and it's just it's all up to you guys to settle the situation however you want. The suits will still have those bonuses when you are in multiplayer, but I don't think the tri-suit would work. At least it wouldn't make a lot of sense. So if you pick up the suit of the bombs, every bomb that you use in the multiplayer session is going to be bigger. If you pick up the Kokiri suit, you're going to be shooting triple arrows, that kind of stuff. And it's pretty fun. Competitive mode is pretty fun as well, but I wouldn't call it the highlight of the game. I mean, I think it's a nice thing that it's there because, after doing a little bit of co-op, maybe you guys are like, man, I'm a little bit tired of all these puzzles. I just want to beat the crap out of you guys, and you go out into the competitive mode and dish it out. And that's another thing that will sometimes happen in cooperative mode. One of your friends might become all trolly and just pick you up. And once someone picks you up, you're pretty much helpless. You can't leave the totem, so to speak. So whoever is on the bottom has complete control of the totem, and someone can just grab you and just throw you off a cliff. And that is something that is going to happen, but that's also fun. It's also part of the charm. However, it can get old, particularly if you're playing online with someone who's just trolling, picking you up, throwing you off a cliff. That can be a problem. So again, I would have to say that this game, I would recommend mostly if you have 2 more friends to play with. That is I would say just get it. If you have 2 friends to play with, I would highly recommend it. If you don't have 2 friends to play it and you're going to have to rely on online, I still think it's a really fun game, but I think it's also going to be somewhat of a frustrating experience for some people to go on the online and just trying to communicate, let's do this, by pressing the little emotes thing. I don't think it's going to be super easy. But again, I think the game is a lot of fun on an environment like the one that we had when we went over to Nintendo. It was just like a bunch of us all playing the game. That was a lot of fun. We all had a blast. Everybody was laughing because thing A happened, or like someone threw someone off a cliff by accident or on purpose. And it's just good fun. But again, it is good fun when 3 people at least are in the same room. That I think is the best environment to play this game. Online, I don't think it's going to be as much fun, but haven't had a chance to really play it online, so I can't say all that much about it. Usually at the end of each of the little dungeons that I told you guys about, there's going to be a boss fight, which tends to, I think pretty much every boss fight that I've fought so far has included the totem mechanic. So sometimes you will have to shoot the boss or attack the boss with a 2-person totem while having a 3rd person doing something else. Other times you will need to have 3 people on a totem with the bomb guy on top so that it can throw a bomb inside the boss. There's a whole bunch of really cool mechanics that keep the game interesting, in my opinion. But again, this is not your typical Zelda. You know, this game's intention is, you can clearly see that it was developed thinking about having 3 players play it, and that is where it is at its strongest. I still feel the game's a lot of fun, and I'm definitely going to keep playing it, but I just wish I had like 2 people at arm's reach that would also have 3DSs so that I could play with them, because it is a lot more fun than when I'm playing by myself in single player. But anyway, that's my opinion on Zelda Triforce Heroes. It's pretty fun. Once again, I know that I'm reinforcing this too much, but particularly if you have 3 friends to play with. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me all your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff in the comment section below. I know that I haven't really, as a matter of fact, I haven't really decided on how I'm going to splice game footage into this video. I don't really want to use me filming the 3DS because I always think that footage doesn't look that great. And I don't know if I can use trailers because Nintendo usually tends to chop down on those. So it might even just be me talking to you guys through the camera for some of these 3DS things. But I've already told you guys, and those of you that don't know, I've already ordered a 3DS with a capture unit, but they have a huge backlog, and I'm still waiting for it to get here. So sorry. I mean, for the time being, this is all I can do. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.